Ladies and gentlemen, I am glad to see you again. This is a continuation of the story. You can see the beginning of the story by following the link in the description under the video. And so, let's listen. I finally mustered the courage to execute my plan, and it worked flawlessly. I delivered the shocking news of my discovery of my wife's infidelity, and she was utterly blindsided and left completely devastated. It's been over a month since I first found out about her unfaithfulness, but instead of confronting her, I chose to devise a meticulous and covert plan to rid myself of her without any complications. It was an arduous task to maintain a facade of normalcy throughout the past month, but I persevered by being cordial, showering her with gifts, having casual conversations, and so on. The urge to confront her was intense, but I refrained from doing so, as it could have jeopardized my plan and made things more challenging for me. To ensure a smooth exit from my tumultuous marriage, I embarked on a multi-pronged approach. Firstly, I committed to a rigorous fitness regime to bolster my physical and mental strength. Secondly, I consulted a lawyer who helped me draft the necessary paperwork to initiate the divorce proceedings. Thirdly, I painstakingly gathered over 450 pages of evidence, consisting of explicit messages, to support my case. Fourthly, I set up a new debit account, and I was prepared to transfer the funds at a moment's notice. Lastly, I convinced my wife to take some time off at her parents' house, giving me ample opportunities to execute my plan. To my satisfaction, everything, and I mean everything, went according to plan, as I had even predicted the exact reaction that she and her family would have. Without hesitation, I froze her credit card, which bore my name, and transferred half of our shared funds to the new debit account as soon as I received confirmation of the papers being delivered. Yesterday, my wife left for her parents' house, and I saw her off with a simple hug and a well-wishing message to take care of herself. This morning, a process server arrived at her parents' doorstep and delivered the divorce papers, catching her completely off guard. She had no inkling that I knew about her deceitful actions. Her parents, too, were taken aback and professed ignorance about the situation. Upon receiving the news, she was reportedly inconsolable and hysterical. The irony of the situation is that I am yet to speak to her. Instead, her mother was the one who reached out to me. I found myself in a position where I had to divulge the details of the situation to my wife's mother, albeit at a higher level. It's baffling that even in such a predicament, her mother is attempting to play the role of a problem solver. The absurdity of it all is that I cannot even have a private conversation with my spouse about our relationship. This is a 29-year-old woman who is allowing her mother to intercede and speak on her behalf. While I did share a cordial relationship with my mother-in-law, and she did encourage my wife to work on our marriage, I cannot help but find their behavior utterly foolish. I handled the situation with utmost tact and composure, refraining from letting my emotions get the better of me. I had to bite my tongue on several occasions. During a conversation with my mother-in-law about retrieving my wife's belongings, she insinuated that it was my responsibility to facilitate the process. She suggested that I pack the items, rent a car, and drive for 4 hours to deliver them. The items in question were mostly trivial, such as t-shirts and lotion bottles. I politely informed her that it was not my responsibility to undertake such a task. To my surprise, she retorted by saying that if I truly respected her as much as I claimed, I would do her the favor. Her unwarranted interference in the matter was concerning enough, but her attempt at manipulation was infuriating. I calmly explained that her request was irrelevant to the current situation, and that I could easily make a similar demand of her. I implored her not to resort to such tactics again and reminded her that I was already showing her a great deal of respect by avoiding certain contentious issues. I also made it clear that I had the option of taking legal action and presenting evidence of her infidelity in court. The current situation is causing a significant financial burden for both parties involved. However, I have the ability to assert a claim of theft regarding our beloved dog. Additionally, I possess concrete evidence that could potentially lead to the termination of the perpetrator's youth pastor position and other employment opportunities. My goal is to ensure that this process is as cost-effective and straightforward as possible. Fortunately, the other party has acquiesced and agreed to retrieve their belongings. At the moment, I am awaiting the next step, which I suspect may involve hiring a legal representative to challenge my ownership of the dog. Interestingly, the most important point of the dispute was not considered, despite its enormous importance. It is likely that her mother is currently comforting her, trying to justify numerous cases of infidelity. Perhaps she is told that it is perfectly acceptable to publicly humiliate her spouse at every opportunity, but at the same time expect that he will be received at home with open arms and will be treated with tenderness. Such behavior is, without a doubt, unacceptable, and it should be paid the closest attention. In a previous thread, a user suggested that a person may have borderline personality disorder due to their statements. I agree with this assessment. It seems unusual that they are so preoccupied with trivial possessions at the moment. Additionally, my wife is not cooperating with me in handling this situation, which is concerning. I am considering not involving her mother in this matter. It appears that my wife may be experiencing some mental instability. I am hesitant to allow them to retrieve their belongings as I do not want to deal with the situation. Overall, I am feeling very frustrated and unhappy with the current circumstances. I'm frustrated that I've been transparent and truthful with them, yet they're attempting to manipulate me. It bothers me that I may have to resort to coercion to get my point across. I resent that I've always been seen as a source of income for my wife and her parents, with no regard for my feelings or needs. It's disheartening that I can't have a mature conversation with my wife about this issue. I'm also upset that her mother lied to me about not knowing about her daughter's infidelity. Their confusion about my actions is aggravating. Despite everything, I can't help but think of my wife instinctively. I still have the urge to ask my ex-wife what flavor of ice cream she would like when I see it in the store. However, above all else, it upsets me that I am still seen as the villain by them. As an update, everything worked out well in the end. We had a clean break and haven't had any communication since. There have been no problems whatsoever. Both of us have moved on with our lives, and that's the end of it. It ended up being a costly but necessary breakup. The only downside to the divorce was having to give up my dog. It seems like my ex-wife is still taking good care of him. After the divorce, I graduated, landed a job, and relocated. On the other hand, my ex-wife moved into her parents' guest room and has remained there ever since. She found a low-paying job but hasn't made any progress since then. Although she's dating someone, I don't know anything about him because she's blocked me, despite me never saying anything to her. I've dated a couple of women, but I've found one who is incredibly special and has shown me a level of love I never knew existed. Unfortunately, I ended up losing my recent girlfriend as well. Despite this, I've been thriving in the dating world and have met countless women who are far superior to my ex-wife. I still have a desire to rekindle things with my most recent ex-girlfriend. That's just how life goes sometimes. On the bright side, I landed a fantastic job and am doing very well financially, whereas my ex-wife is still in her 30s and living with her retired parents. It seems that I came out on top and relatively unscathed, even 4 years later. As an update, it has been 4 years since I discovered the truth about my ex-wife. Despite my busy schedule of working towards a degree at an Ivy League school and paying all the rent, bills, food, and both of our student loans, my wife was able to have multiple secret affairs without arousing much suspicion. I had given her the privacy she desired, which allowed her to carry out her infidelity with ease. It's frustrating to think that while I was working hard to better our future, she was busy betraying our trust and ruining our marriage behind my back. After experiencing a lot of confusion and anger, which I'm sure many people posting here can relate to, I have finally moved on from my ex-wife. In truth, I don't care about her at all anymore. Instead, I find myself thinking more about my recent exes, who showed me much more kindness and love. but I'm still puzzled about why anyone would cheat when they're with someone who is clearly out of their league. Although I wasn't aware of it at the time, numerous people have pointed out to me in various ways, and sometimes even directly, that I'm out of her league. The reason behind her infidelity will probably always remain a mystery to me. I am well aware that I am above average in terms of looks. Throughout our relationship, I made it a point to spend my free time with my ex-wife, which was often in the evenings. I am highly educated, physically fit, free from any mental illnesses, and possess a decent level of charisma. Furthermore, I am well on my way to a successful career. Given all of these factors, it appeared that we had checked off many boxes in terms of what makes a great partner. I recognize that there are many intangible qualities that determine why someone might cheat. Despite this, I do find myself pondering this question from time to time. I usually chuckle to myself and move on with my day, knowing that I have much more to offer than what my ex-wife was able to appreciate. Over the course of time, I have had the opportunity to date a few women, and I must say that they were all delightful and intriguing individuals who contributed significantly to my personal growth. Through my experiences with them, I have been able to fully comprehend just how terrible my ex-wife was as a human being. Having dated her early on in high school, I had no basis for comparison. All those individuals with whom she had extramarital affairs and whom she hopelessly professed her love to are no longer in the picture. Now, after 4 years have passed, I am finally able to leave my past behind and move on to a new chapter in my life. I have had to rebuild my life from the ground up, but I am excited about the possibilities that lie ahead. As the days lead up to next week, I am filled with excitement and joy as I prepare to celebrate my 2-year anniversary with my amazing girlfriend. She is an embodiment of love, care, intelligence, and beauty, and I am grateful every day for the love and companionship she brings into my life. Her professional life is equally impressive, as she has secured a job that she excels at and pays her well, making her a perfect role model for aspiring professionals. Our apartment, with its stunning view of the river, is a perfect reflection of our love, and our goofy dog is an adorable addition to our family that never fails to bring a smile to our faces. My career is thriving, and my finances are well within the upper middle class threshold, affording us the opportunity to live a comfortable life without any financial worries. Furthermore, we have been able to steer clear of debt, alimony, and any unnecessary contact with past relationships, allowing us to focus solely on our present and future together. At times, I have found myself reflecting on my past relationship with my ex-wife and have come to the realization that I no longer hold any feelings of hatred towards her. While I don't wish her any ill will, I must admit that I remain indifferent towards her. Perhaps, deep down, I hope that things generally don't work out for her. But that is not something that I dwell on. Looking back, I can confidently say that my decision to divorce my ex-wife was the right one, as it has brought me immense happiness and a newfound sense of purpose. For those of you who may be struggling in similar situations, I implore you to hold on to hope and have faith in yourself to emerge from the other side as a wiser and stronger person. Remember, there is always light at the end of the tunnel, and with perseverance you can overcome any obstacle that comes your way.